One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Ty Brown, and welcome to One Question, where we highlight executive leaders in college athletics. Our guest today is Dave Brunk. Dave is currently the commissioner of the Peach Belt Conference, and he's been in that position for 12 years. Greetings, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Ty. I appreciate being here.
Happy to have you. Now, you've been a commissioner in total for 20 years, right? Division II commissioner. And over that time, you found it important to make sure you stay on the cutting edge of what's important in college athletics and what's important for student athletes. And some of the things you've done, specifically there at the Peach Belt Conference, is you sponsored eSports, right, which is something that's coming, and it's here. You sponsor eSports on the whole conference level, right, every school. You align with the Power 5 conference on training for officials, which is very important. You have this battlefields to ball fields thing and the importance of sleep for student athletes and a number of other things. Can you tell me about some of these things I listed and what led you to come up with some of those things?
Well, really, I would say the genesis for all of this comes about the fact that I'm always challenging my staff on what can we do that would be new, innovative, unique. What would raise the bar, shine the light on the conference and our membership. Esports is something that we're very, very proud of, and the fact that it came about during a staff meeting 2 years ago, and I said, what can we do? And part of the discussion, one of my staff members said, let's talk about eSports. And I said, what? What is that? And had no idea about it. And the more we talked, I thought, this really could be something. So after we talked about the concept, then we thought, really, who would oversee eSports on the campus? Would it be in athletics? Would it be through student affairs? We're very unique in the Peach Belt in the fact that our vice presidents for student affairs have a seat at the table, governance-wise, in the Peach Belt, and they're responsible for different unique competitions that we have, whether it be cheer, dance, pep band, whether it be art shows, some academic competitions. So I reached out to their council. So what would you think if? Would you want to house eSports under your umbrella? And they said, by all means, they would. So from there, I took it to our presidents. I'll never forget on the conference call, it said, okay, here's something that we're talking about. Nobody else is doing it. We would run an in-person championship. We would run it just like we do our basketball and baseball tournaments as well. eSports. And I'll never forget one of our presidents on the call said, what took you so long? And they were laughing, and so I knew we'd really hit the mark in with that. So that was a thing that we're really proud, innovative on that, because we need to work with a publisher. What game are we going to play, and when will we have the championship? What will the venue look like? What do we do about all the different equipment and the gaming chairs and all that? So really it took us a little over a year to get everything put together. But last spring we had the first in-person championship. No D1, 2, or 3 conference had done that in person before. And we had representatives from Riot Games from LA flew in. We had NCAA representatives in. It was a fabulous weekend. The athletes that competed in eSports were thrilled beyond all means. They walked into the venue and someone remarked, this is like what we see on TV, and it worked out great. So we're looking forward to having our second in person the last weekend in March. So that was something that really raised the bar, and now other conferences are following suit, and so we're real proud of the leadership role that we took. Some of the other opportunities that we have come up with, again, is a collaboration what can we do? What would be new and unique as a conference, just this past year at our annual meeting, we were talking about priorities for the upcoming year, and our board said, well, let's have priority of the mental health and well-being of student athletes. So we got back to the office, and what can we do in that regard? Here's an idea. Let's get sleep masks, because sleep deprivation is so paramount and an issue for student athletes today. That we got the sleep masks, handed them out. Every one of our student athletes in the Peach Belt have those. So just different things like that. We're proud to take a leadership role in, and I just think it's important for the health of the conference and the members.
How long have you been? Like, it sounds like it's a culture of the office, the conference officer. Like, it's not just one or two things. This is our culture. What can we do next to better help our student athletes? What can we do next to help the experience? What can we do next to emphasize our brand? Has that been a thing for the whole 12 years you've been commissioner there, or is that relatively recent, or has it been for the whole 20 years you've been a commissioner overall?
Yeah, it's really been a constant of mine. Just was find ways, how can we get better? How can we better service the membership in the conference? What can we do to shine the light on our members, our student athletes, and the overall league as a whole? So, we have once a week with our full staff meetings, a standing agenda item is what's out there, what do we need to be thinking about? So
it's interesting. The way to be successful at consistency is to continue evolving, right? It's real interesting. Talk to me about the battlefields to ball fields. Tell me exactly what that is and why is that important? So is that something important for you guys to do?
Okay. Another one of our big priorities for the upcoming year was the officiating crisis. Nationwide, from the grassroots level clear through collegiate sports, the average age of an official now is 48 years old. There is JV high school teams are having to cancel contests, lack of officials for one reason or another, with the grief from parents and fans and coaches and the players. So our president said, let's see what we can do in terms of officiating. So Mike Pereira, Fox Sports on the NFL, we got back from the annual meeting. Here was the charge, officiating, and I read about a foundation that Mike had put together called Battlefields to Ball Fields, and it's designed to get veterans, when coming back from deployment, retired veterans, to get integrated back into their communities through officiating. So I reached out to Mike, introduced the Peach Belt Conference, and said that Division II, when they had their military initiative about 5 years ago, we were the pilot conference for that. We have military installations throughout our footprint, and I said, what can we do to align with you and support your foundation? So we're the first conference that he has brought in. So we are working with our institutions, the VA offices on campuses, and also the military bases to attract veterans into battlefields to ball fields, where they receive a scholarship. They get all their equipment, the uniform, the whistle. They get certification in their sports. They would work with our officiating assigners to learn more technique, and so far it's been a success. We're getting some to sign up, and it might take 2 to 3 years to see the results, but at least that is out there to help the crisis, and I'm in hopes that a lot of my commissioner colleagues will follow suit and align with B2B down the road.
If you're an idea person, if you're an idea organization, you probably throw up 30 ideas and pick 2 of the best ones. How many ideas haven't been picked, you think, in the last 4 or 5 years in terms of what you guys are trying to do?
Oh, I have a folder that's full of yellow stickies with, I might wake up in the middle of the night and think, this might be a good idea, so I'll just write something that to the night and put it in the folder. There are always ways to get better, and to grow as a league, and so we are always looking for that. And I've got a great staff that thinks outside the box as well. And my mantra is there is no bad idea. What are you thinking? What something that we can discuss, and we might make a tweak or two, but let's go ahead and see if it'll work. So, I really relish that challenge, and my staff does as well, and I think the membership really appreciates what we're trying to do.
It sounds like that, and so it doesn't matter where you are in the career maturity in your office. Everybody can give ideas. I mean, it doesn't matter. And then you also bring them in from the conference, I imagine, too.
We do, and that's where, in talking with our AD council and our presidents and chancellors, that's where we were talking about the officiating crisis, and what one of our presidents said, we really need to show appreciation for what the ones that we have in the conference for what they do. So we started this fall Officials Appreciation Week, and 1 week in the fall, one in the winter, one in the spring. The officials at volleyball, basketball, softball are honored, and each school does their own different thing, but it's an opportunity to show the officials we appreciate the hard work you put in. Thanks for being a part of the Peach Belt Conference. And I always say, without officials, it's just practice, right? So it's good. I think from a membership standpoint too, we all like to bounce ideas off of each other, but just strongly encourage it with my staff.
Well, Dave, it sounds like you have an environment that people value in terms of your office and the conference in general, and it sounds like you're doing some things that keep you on the cutting edge of college athletics, which I'm sure other conferences really appreciate. I really appreciate you joining us here on One Question.
Thank you so much, Ty, and the pleasure's all mine. Appreciate all that you do for Division II as well. Thank you.
That was Dave Brunk. He's the commissioner of the Peach Belt Conference, and of course this is Ty Brown with One Question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.